Aliens scanned a human warship. What they found terrified them. For most of these civilizations, the rule was simple: never take a human seriously. They were primitive, small, and untested. At least, that was what the ancient databases said. Far in the Kryllian sector, the Vorithian fleet glided silently through the void. Their ships were enormous, each one capable of carrying thousands of weapons, drones, and personnel. They had faced countless threats before: hostile aliens, rogue planets, and even the strange anomalies of deep space. Yet today something caught the attention of Commander Zelric, the fleet's youngest yet most feared strategist. A single blip on the scanners appeared, small, almost insignificant. "Commander," said Lieutenant Shalter, his voice tense, "we have a vessel, unknown origin. Size small, no markings, minimal energy signature." Zelric leaned closer to the holographic display. The blip moved steadily through the sector, but not randomly. Its course was precise, deliberate. "Scan it fully," Zelric ordered. "I want every detail." Shalter's hands moved swiftly over the console. The ship was small, about the size of a transport cruiser, but it should have been unremarkable. Yet the sensors told a different story. The energy readings fluctuated in impossible patterns. The shields were unlike anything the Vorithians had ever catalogued. And the weapons systems, the readings were incomplete, almost as if the ship refused to be understood. "Commander," Shalter said, voice trembling slightly, "the shield structure, it's not conventional. And the engines, our scans cannot measure their output accurately. It's impossible." Zelric's eyes narrowed. "Impossible or unknown?" Shalter hesitated. "Unknown, sir, but powerful, far beyond what we expected from a vessel this size." Zelric stood, pacing in front of the glowing map of the sector. "Send the data to High Command," he said. "If it's a trap, we need to know before it's too late. If it's just primitive humans, then we will learn something today." Shalter's fingers froze over the console. "Humans?" "Yes," Zelric replied coldly. "The data matches the signature of humans. They've been in this sector before. Nobody takes them seriously. I think it's time we reconsidered that." Meanwhile, aboard the human warship, the crew went about their tasks quietly. The ship, the ISS Dauntless, was sleek and almost ordinary in appearance. Outside observers would have called it simple, even primitive, but appearances were deceiving. Captain Mara Jansen stood on the bridge, hands clasped behind her back. Her crew moved with calm efficiency. "Status report," she said. Lieutenant Curran Holt spoke up, his voice steady. "Sensors show minor alien fleet activity nearby, but nothing aggressive. Standard patrols. All systems optimal." Mara nodded. "Good, keep monitoring. Make sure they don't see more than they need to." The Dauntless was not alone. Scattered across the sector were small human scouting drones, invisible to the alien sensors. They collected data silently, observing every movement of the Vorithian fleet. But the humans did not intend to attack, at least not yet. They wanted information first. Knowledge was their true weapon. Back with the Vorithians, the scan continued. They tried everything: energy pulses, deep resonance scans, gravimetric analysis. The human ship responded in ways that confused their systems. Shields would shift before an attack reached them. Weapons that should have been visible on scans were nowhere to be found. Yet sensor readings suggested power levels capable of destroying entire squadrons. "This is impossible," said Admiral Wachter, the fleet commander, as he studied the live feed. "A single ship this small, it has more energy than 3 of our destroyers combined. And the shield matrix, how does it adapt so quickly?" "Nothing in our history suggests this is possible." Zelric watched silently, his mind racing. Humans had always been unpredictable. They were clever, yes, but cleverness alone could not explain this. The Dauntless moved with confidence, not fear, and that confidence was growing. "The ship is not just powerful," Shalter said quietly, almost to himself. "It's arrogant." "Exactly," Zelric replied. "And arrogance is dangerous. The more they believe they are safe, the more they will strike where we least expect it. On board the Dauntless, Mara smiled faintly. She had anticipated this reaction. Humans had a long history of turning the tables, of using intelligence and adaptability to overcome enemies far stronger than themselves. Her crew were trained not just to fight but to think ahead, to adapt faster than any opponent could predict. "Sir," said Curran Holt, "the Vorithian fleet is scanning us. They've detected our presence. They seem confused." "Good," Mara said. "Confusion is an advantage. Keep feeding them exactly what we want them to see." The human warship altered its energy signature, making itself appear weaker than it really was. The sensors would register low power levels, basic weapons, and slow engines. But inside, the ship was a fortress. The shields could absorb attacks that would level entire cities. The engines could outmaneuver fighters 10 times smaller. And the weapons, well, those were secrets the aliens would soon wish they never discovered. In the Vorithian war room, panic was spreading. The aliens had scanned hundreds of enemy ships in their lifetimes, but never one like this. Every reading contradicted the last. Their analysis programs produced error after error. Admiral Wachter slammed his clawed hand onto the console. "Commander Zelric, what do we know?" "Give me something real." Zelric took a deep breath. "What we know is terrifying. This is a human warship. It is small. It should be weak. But every measurement shows it is stronger than any vessel we have. Its systems are adaptive, its tactics unpredictable. It is a weapon beyond our understanding." Murmurs rippled through the room. The term "beyond understanding" was not used lightly. The Vorithians prided themselves on intelligence, strategy, and logic. And yet here was something, or someone, that defied all logic. Shalter looked at the map. "Commander, it's moving closer to the contested zone. The Dauntless is heading straight for the minefield where the enemy squadrons gather." Zelric froze. "It's going to provoke them." "And win," Shalter whispered. In deep space, the Dauntless drifted silently. Mara watched the holographic display of the Vorithian sector. She knew what they expected: a slow, cautious human ship hiding and observing. But humans never followed expectations. They thrived in situations where the odds were against them. "Prepare the adaptive shields," she said. "Keep engines ready for sudden maneuvers. Weapons on standby, but do not fire unless necessary. Remember, we are observers first. And humans always have an ace we haven't revealed." Her crew nodded. Every human on board understood the unspoken rule: the galaxy may underestimate you, but never let them know your full strength until the right moment. Back with the Vorithians, the tension was unbearable. Analysts were still struggling to make sense of the readings. A destroyer fleet could take hours to breach a shield, but the Dauntless's shields were absorbing the energy scans in real time. Every attempt to measure its weapons output was nullified. "This is a single ship," said Wachter, his voice trembling. "A single human ship." "Yes," said Zelric, "and it is terrifying." Suddenly, the Dauntless shifted course. It moved not randomly but with purpose. Sensors picked up acceleration patterns that defied known physics. The humans were heading straight into a sector where enemy fleets were gathering, far from the usual trade lanes, far from safety. "The audacity," whispered one of the officers. "They are going to engage with numbers we can't match." Zelric leaned forward. "They are not just engaging, they are hunting, and we will see it soon. Mark my words, the galaxy has never faced anything like this before." In the final moments of the scan, the Vorithians made one last attempt to comprehend the human vessel. They fired a full-spectrum energy pulse, designed to penetrate shields and reveal all internal systems. The pulse hit the Dauntless and vanished. No feedback, no reflection, no damage. It was as if the ship swallowed the energy and spat nothing back. The room went silent. Admiral Wachter spoke slowly, almost in disbelief. How is this possible?" Shalter shook his head. "Commander, they are lying to our sensors. They are hiding and preparing." Zelric's eyes were cold, focused. Then we wait, and hope we are ready when the human ship shows its true power. But deep down, every Vorithian present knew the truth. They were not ready. They were witnessing the first sign of a force that could change the galaxy forever. And humans, as always, remained calm, confident, and deadly in their silence. The galaxy had never known patience like humans. While alien fleets bickered over tactics, logistics, and proper formation, humans acted. And the Dauntless, the human warship, was proof that patience was not weakness, it was strategy. In the Vorithian command center, panic had grown into full-blown fear. Admiral Voctor paced the room, claws clicking on the smooth floor. Every scan, every data readout made less sense than the last. A single ship, small by any conventional measure, was producing readings that rivaled entire squadrons. "Commander Zelric," the admiral barked, "what are our analysts saying? How does a ship this size carry so much power? Explain." Zelric's voice was calm, but his eyes betrayed the tension in the room. "Admiral, they are humans. That is the first thing to understand. They are unpredictable, adaptive, and capable of tactics no AI or algorithm can calculate. And this ship, the Dauntless, is a prime example of human ingenuity. It is a warship in the purest sense, but also something more." Voctor's claws rapped against the console. "Something more? Speak clearly, Commander. Do not hide behind flowery words." Shalter, sitting at the sensor console, finally spoke. His voice was low, almost afraid. "Admiral, the ship is learning from our scans. It's adaptive. Every pulse we send, every energy scan we perform, it changes itself to resist and counteract. It is reacting before we even finish observing it." The room fell silent. Even seasoned officers felt the weight of those words. In all recorded history, no vessel had been capable of reacting in real time to the Vorithian scanning technology. Not one. Voctor leaned heavily on the console, eyes narrowed. "So you're telling me it is not just a ship, but a thinking entity?" "Yes, sir," Zelric replied. "And a dangerous one." Far away, in the cold darkness of space, the Dauntless drifted with silent precision. Captain Mara Jansen observed the alien fleets through the ship's enhanced sensors. Hundreds of kilometers away, alien ships prepared to investigate, but none dared approach. Humans were clever that way. They let the enemy make mistakes first. Lieutenant Curran Holt turned to her. "Captain, they're scanning us heavily. They've detected more activity than before, and their responses are increasing in aggression." Mara smiled faintly. "Good. Let them reveal their patterns. Humans always perform best against predictable enemies, and right now, predictability is their weakness." The Dauntless shifted slightly, altering its shield matrix and engine signatures. The Vorithian sensors immediately registered anomalies, but every attempt to reconcile the data ended in confusion. One of Mara's officers spoke. "Captain, their response is escalating faster than expected. They may try to intercept us soon." Mara's voice was calm but commanding. "Then we will be ready. Activate the adaptive protocols fully. Remember, we are not here to destroy yet. We are here to observe. And to show them, when the time comes, why humans are not to be underestimated." Back on the Vorithian fleet, analysts worked frantically. Every system in their command network tried to model the Dauntless's capabilities. Every algorithm failed. Every projection fell apart. It was as if the human ship was designed to defy understanding. One analyst whispered, "They are using our scans against us. They are changing the shields and energy flows every time we measure them. It's like they are alive." Zelric's eyes darkened. "They are alive," he said softly, "not just in the biological sense, but in the tactical sense too. Humans have a habit of treating their ships as extensions of themselves. It's terrifying, and it works." Voctor's claws clenched. "Explain," Shalter swallowed. "Sir, the Dauntless is adaptive. Every weapon we can detect is either decoy or multifunctional. Their engines are faster than measured. their shields stronger than readouts suggest. Even the interior systems, they are designed to withstand damage that would destroy a typical ship of this class. In short, one human ship could decimate our forward fleets with proper use. The room erupted in shocked murmurs. Officers looked at one another in disbelief. The words decimate and one ship were never meant to appear together in Vorithian military history. Meanwhile, Mara continued her observation. The Dauntless moved with calculated precision toward the contested system where multiple alien fleets were converging. Sensors indicated the aliens were fully unaware of the ship's true capability. Humans would not attack recklessly. They did not need to. Fear, confusion, and miscalculation were just as effective as weapons. Lieutenant Holt noted, "Captain, multiple squadrons are converging. They still think we are a small, lightly armed vessel. They're committing resources based on false assumptions." "Exactly," Mara replied. "Humans exploit assumptions. Every enemy in the galaxy makes them. That is why we survive. That is why we excel." The Dauntless engaged subtle evasive maneuvers, avoiding detection grids and sensor sweeps. Every movement was precise, every change calculated. By the time alien fleets realized the humans were there, the Dauntless was already in position, a predator surrounded by unwitting prey. In the Vorithian command center, alarm bells rang. "Commander Zelric, their location is impossible. They should not have been able to travel this far this fast." Zelric's fingers danced over the console, trying to recalibrate their projections. "Impossible is human territory," he muttered under his breath. Admiral Wachter turned sharply. "You're not helping. Explain this. How can one ship move with speed and stealth that outmatches our entire fleet?" Shalter hesitated, then said, "Sir, I think it's learning from us. Every attempt we make to anticipate it, it adapts instantly. It is not just a ship. It is a mind that thinks faster than any strategy program we have." The Admiral's eyes widened. "A mind? You mean to tell me this human vessel is calculating our moves in real time?" "Yes, sir," Zelric said grimly, "and it will not stop until it has achieved its objective, whatever that may be." In deep space, the Dauntless continued its silent approach. Mara watched the alien formations through enhanced sensors. Hundreds of enemy ships gathered, unaware that they had already been assessed, measured, and analyzed by humans. "Lieutenant Holt," she said, "prepare the tactical matrix. I want to run simulations against each enemy squadron, not to fire yet, just to ensure we know what will happen when we do. Humans always fight with foresight, not recklessness." "Yes, Captain," Holt replied. Every simulation showed the same result. The Dauntless could survive attacks that would obliterate conventional ships. It could maneuver through heavy fire, disable multiple targets simultaneously, and retreat without sustaining meaningful damage. Every model emphasized one point clearly: humans were not just survivors, they were strategic masters. On the Vorithian side, panic had reached the highest levels. Fleet commanders debated what to do. "We cannot allow them to approach the contested system," one argued. "We must intercept." "Intercept," said another. "We have no idea what we are dealing with. It is too fast, too adaptive, too clever." Zelric leaned over the console, eyes narrowing. "We underestimated humans. That is our mistake. They are not bound by our conventions, our logic, or our expectations. If we engage recklessly, we will lose more than ships. We may lose entire systems." Wachter slammed his claws on the table. "Then what do you suggest?" "Wait, observe, and hope we are lucky," Zelric said quietly. "Because if we are not, humanity will show us exactly why we should never have scanned them at all." The humans, meanwhile, had detected the alien nervousness. They were aware of the scans, the calculations, the attempted readings of their systems, and they used it. "Activate the countermeasures," Mara said. "Let them think they understand us. Let them watch their readings fail. Let them fear what they cannot predict." Holt hesitated. Captain, are we not overexposing ourselves? Mara shook her head. No, humans do not hide their strength to be weak. Humans hide it to show the galaxy exactly what they can do when the time is right. The alien fleets adjusted their formations. Sensors flickered as the Dauntless moved. Every attempt to anticipate human behavior failed. The Vorithians watched in horror as their energy pulses bounced harmlessly, their drone attacks neutralized before launch. "This is impossible," one officer shouted. "They are countering everything we throw at them. One ship." Wachter stared at the readouts, pale even through his dark scales. "One ship," he repeated. "And it is learning, adapting, surviving. And yet we cannot even begin to understand it." Schalter whispered. "Sir, it is more than a ship. It is a human warship. That is why we are terrified." Wachter nodded slowly, fear mixed with awe. "Yes," he said, "terrified because we see now what humans are capable of. And this is only one ship. Imagine what their fleets might do." In the shadows of space, the Dauntless drifted silently. It had not fired a single shot. It had not broken a single rule of engagement. Yet it had done more damage than any battle could show. The humans had revealed their greatest weapon, the terror of unpredictability, the brilliance of adaptation, and the courage to face forces far larger than themselves. Mara looked at her crew. "Remember this moment," she said softly. "The galaxy may fear us. They may doubt us. But this is what makes humans strong, clever, bold, and unstoppable when they choose to be." The Dauntless continued on its course. Soon, it would show the galaxy exactly what it was capable of. And the aliens, they had only begun to realize the truth. Space was silent, but it was a tense silence. Thousands of kilometers away, the Vorithian fleets gathered, waiting. They had scanned, analyzed, and calculated, yet they still could not predict what the human warship would do. Fear spread through every command bridge. They had underestimated humans, and now they were paying the price. Captain Mara Jansen stood on the bridge of the ISS Dauntless, calm and composed. Her crew moved around her with quiet precision. The Dauntless had already proven itself capable of surviving any test the aliens threw at it. But now it was time for humans to act not recklessly but decisively. "Lieutenant Holt," Mara said, her voice firm but controlled, "prepare for engagement. We will not strike yet but ensure all systems are ready. The moment we act, there is no turning back." "Yes, Captain," Holt replied, his fingers dancing over the console. Sensors, shields, engines, and weapons, all systems reported optimal readiness. The Vorithian fleets were confident. They believed they had cornered the Dauntless. Hundreds of ships, armed to the teeth, surrounded the human vessel in the contested system. Each Vorithian commander believed in their advantage. After all, one small ship could not possibly withstand the combined might of entire squadrons. But they were wrong. The Dauntless did not panic. It did not hide. It moved with purpose. Its shields shimmered subtly, adaptive and nearly invisible. The engines adjusted continuously, calculating evasive trajectories faster than any alien system could process. And inside, the crew worked in perfect synchrony, thinking ahead, predicting the aliens' moves before they themselves could understand them. "Captain," Holt said quietly, "they are aligning to attack. Multiple squadrons are closing in from 3 vectors. If they fire together, we could take damage." Mara smiled faintly. "And if they fire together, they will learn why humans are not to be underestimated." The first alien squadron fired. Hundreds of energy beams converged on the Dauntless. But the human warship was already prepared. Its adaptive shields bent the energy away, converting a portion into usable power to reinforce its engines. The beams struck nothing but empty space. "Shields holding," Holt reported. "No damage." Zelric's voice echoed over alien channels that intercepted human chatter, though he did not expect them to speak openly. "Impossible," he muttered. "No ship should withstand that many weapons simultaneously." The Dauntless moved like water through a storm. It slipped between squadrons, appearing and disappearing from sensors. Every maneuver exploited weaknesses in the alien formations. The Vorithians tried to predict the ship's path, but each calculation failed. The humans were not following logic, they were bending it to their will. The second wave of aliens attacked, larger and more aggressive. Drones swarmed the Dauntless, missiles streaked through space, and energy pulses tested the limits of the human ship's shields. Still, the humans were calm. "Divert power to the rear shields and engines," Mara commanded. "Prepare countermeasures on all vectors. Target their closest capital ships first. Disable, do not destroy. Let them know the price of underestimating humans." Holt's hands moved over the tactical console with precision. Missile intercepts, drone neutralization, energy redirection, all executed flawlessly. One by one, the alien ships faltered. Their weapons misfired, drones were absorbed by adaptive shields, and missile strikes evaporated harmlessly. The Vorithian fleet began to realize that this was no ordinary ship. Even as they fired, they were being outmaneuvered. Every move the Dauntless made was calculated to inflict maximum psychological effect, showing the aliens that their strength was meaningless against human ingenuity. "Captain," said Ensign Lara Chen, "their command ship is broadcasting. They want to negotiate." Mara's expression was steady. "Prepare the transmission, but let them listen, not dictate. Humans never beg or negotiate from fear. We speak with authority. Let them know who they face." A calm, clear voice echoed through the alien channel, translated for all Vorithian officers. "This is the ISS Dauntless. You scanned us. You assumed weakness. You were wrong. One ship is enough to show you the cost of underestimating humans. Withdraw or continue at your own peril. The choice is yours." There was silence in the alien fleet. Shock rippled across every ship. They had expected a small, weak vessel. Instead, they heard confidence, authority, and a warning that chilled them to their core. And yet some could not retreat. Some saw retreat as weakness. They fired again, this time with full force. Thousands of energy blasts converged on the Dauntless. But the human ship was prepared. Adaptive shields, high-speed maneuvers, and precise targeting ensured the Dauntless absorbed or deflected every strike. Counterattacks struck the enemy capital ships, disabling engines and weapons without destroying lives. Drones were neutralized mid-flight, leaving alien pilots in confusion. From the alien perspective, it was chaos. Their formations, which had been perfectly designed for victory, unraveled within minutes. Panic spread. Commands overlapped. Systems failed. And all because a single human warship defied every expectation. Zelric watched helplessly on the bridge of his command ship. He had led fleets to victory countless times. He had seen entire alien civilizations fall. And yet here he was, facing one human ship that rendered all strategy meaningless. "They adapt faster than we can calculate," he muttered to himself. "They are not just strong, they are terrifying." Voctor's claws clenched. "Terrifying, they are humans, we should crush them, send everything." Zelric shook his head. "No, if we commit everything now, we will learn exactly why humans survive against impossible odds. And we will regret it." Meanwhile, the Dauntless continued its methodical assault, not reckless but precise. One alien cruiser after another lost propulsion, weapon systems failed, and morale began to crumble. The humans never fired unnecessarily. Their weapons struck only where they would teach a lesson, not annihilate. Mara's voice was calm, almost gentle. "Prepare boarding avoidance fields. Keep engines at full adaptive output. They are learning too, but humans always stay one step ahead." Holt glanced at her, eyes wide. "Captain, even their capital ships are falling. One human ship and entire fleets are panicking." "How can this be?" Mara smiled faintly. "Because humans are not predictable. Humans are not conventional. Humans fight with courage, intelligence, and adaptability, and the galaxy underestimates us at its own risk." The battle reached its peak. Alien admirals tried every trick they knew. Coordinated volleys, decoys, swarm tactics, even electronic warfare designed to scramble human sensors. Each attempt failed. Every plan was countered. The humans remained calm, precise, and devastatingly effective. Finally, the Vorithian command ship called for a retreat. Systems were failing, drones were destroyed, pilots were panicking, their pride shattered. Humans had done what should have been impossible. Zelric watched them flee, a cold mix of fear and respect rising in him. They survived. They didn't just survive, they dominated with one human ship. Voctor could only nod silently. For the first time in history, he felt true fear of humanity. In the aftermath, the Dauntless drifted through the system, fully operational and unharmed. Crew members quietly returned to routine tasks. Sensors scanned for remaining threats, engines recalibrated, and weapons were secured. Captain Mara Jansen stood, hands clasped behind her back, surveying the starfield. "The galaxy is watching," she said softly. "And they now know why humans are never to be underestimated." Lieutenant Holt approached her. "Captain, do you think they understand? Really understand?" Mara shook her head. "No, understanding comes later. First, they must experience it. Fear is a teacher. And humans, we teach lessons carefully but definitively." The human warship turned, leaving the system quietly. The Vorithians watched it disappear on their sensors. Some were still in disbelief. Some were afraid. But one thing was certain. The legend of the human warship had begun. Across the galaxy, whispers spread. Stories of a small ship that could dominate fleets, of humans who fought with courage, intelligence, and strategy that no other race had seen. The Dauntless had not only survived, it had changed perceptions forever. Captain Mara Jansen looked at her crew and said, "Today we have shown the galaxy who humans are, not because we sought glory, but because we could, and the galaxy will remember it." Holt smiled, understanding fully. Humans were underestimated, humans were unpredictable, and humans were unstoppable. One warship, one crew, and a lesson that the entire galaxy would never forget. The ISS Dauntless moved onward through the stars, a quiet predator in a galaxy that had only begun to fear humans.